What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one of my videos, and in this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So we're going to be talking specifically about one player, which is Devin Booker. We're going to do a deep dive value. We're going to talk about what's going on with him. I see a lot of people posting in Reddit and Facebook on like what's going on with him, and everyone's saying the same thing. So I decided to look deep into the stats and figure out exactly what's going on with him, and especially because I want to know, because I have Devin Booker. So in this video we're just going to go over why he declined, how he declined, and my recommendations and overall analysis of Devin Booker. So the first thing up we're just going to talk about is the factors behind Devin Booker's decline this season. So we're going to talk about his shooting woes, his assist decline, and his biggest factor of decline, which is neither shooting or assist. And like I just said, we're going to talk about my overall analysis of what's going on with Booker and my recommendation on if you have him or if you are thinking about trading for him. All right, so before we continue, fact or myth, guys. The improvement of the Phoenix Suns role players is the reason behind Booker's decline. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below if you think this is a fact or a myth. And I'm going to reveal that answer to you guys later on in the video. And the reason I have this in here is because I see a lot of people saying this, so it's something I want to touch base on. Now, before we continue any further, remember, guys, make sure you like this video if you found it informative or if it helped you in any way. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more fantasy basketball content all season long. All right, so first up is Devin Booker shooting woes. So this graph, well, not graph, this diagram is just his per game basis. It's something that everyone looks at all the time. So we're mainly going to focus on the last two seasons here. So first up, similarities of the last two seasons is his minutes per game, which is important because if he has less minutes, his stats are going to go down. If he has more minutes, stats go up. Just look at someone like Jeremy Grant, who's pretty much doubled his minutes per game. And he's producing at such a high rate because he's getting 37, 38 minutes a game, which is very likely the highest in the league. Don't quote me on that, but I would suspect 37 minutes a game is the highest in the league this year. Anyway, back to Devin Booker. So not only are his minutes the same, his three-point percentage is the same. So when we are looking at mainly his field goal percentage, which is a big difference between the last two seasons, and that's the first thing we're going to touch base on in differences, we're going to look at, well, he shot basically 49% last year, and now he's shooting closer to 47% this year. It's got to be because of his threes, right, guys? Well, if you look at his three-point percentage, he's actually shooting a little bit better and shooting a little bit more threes this year than he did last year. So it's basically the same. So what's going on? His field goal percentage is dipped, right? Well, the reason why he's dipped isn't because of his threes, but because of his two-point percentage. It's dipped down a full percent lower, and he's actually shooting less twos this year than last year, which if we go all the way back over to the field goals attempted, he's shooting almost one field goal less a game. Well, even though he's averaging a half three more per game, he's actually shooting 1.3 attempts, 2-point attempts less per game, which is a huge factor in why his points per game is like basically 3.7 less than it was the last 2 years actually. So because he's shooting 1% less in two-point range, and his overall field goal percentage value is about a percentage less, is why he's shooting, well, that's why his points are less over the last few seasons. Not only that, but his free throw attempts and his free throws made are significantly less, and his free throw percentage, is significantly less, which is another huge factor on why his points are so low. So if you look at his career, his last 4 seasons, including this season, well, if you want to look at the last 3 full seasons, so 18, 19, and 20, if you look at that, he's shooting 88, 87, and 92% from free throw range. So He hasn't shot this poorly since his second year when he was 20 years old. Now he is now in his prime, and the only thing I can think of on why he's shooting so poorly this year is because of COVID. And there was no training camp, there was no getting in shape. Still, he's only 15 games into this season. That's not a significant amount, and he's just missed some games as well. So I actually fully expect him to boost those numbers up in terms of percentage, and he's likely going to shoot more free throws come down the line once he gets all the rust off. All right, we may come back to this because there's something else I want to touch base on in this chart. But for now, we're going to talk about the assist declination. So the first thing I want to touch base on is Devin Booker's usage percentage from 2020 to 2021. As of right now, it's 0.1 of a difference between the last 2 years. So what does that mean exactly? It means he should still be producing at the same level like he did last year because this is the same, but he's not. So why is that? And we're going to get into that. And it's mainly because the ball's not in his hands. So his the biggest thing I noticed is his assist percentage is down almost 12 points. And that just means the ball is not in his hands as often as it was in the last 2 years, even 3 years. Again, this is as low as it's been since he was 20 years old, his second year in the league. So the fact that it's down this much is going to mean he's going to get less assists. That's just the way it is. And I don't think that's going to improve. Now, the reason why I don't think it's going to improve, if you look to the very bottom left, is we're going to talk about secondary assist. So that's about the same as it was from last year. I mean, 0.3 seems like a big difference, and it probably is. But overall, it's close enough where secondary assist will not change how much Devin Booker has touched the ball. So, by the way, a secondary assist is like a hockey assist. So it's when he passes it to a teammate, passes it to another teammate who makes a basket. But the real big number, the real big category or statistic that I was looking at that I think plays a big difference is potential assist. Last year he was at 13.1, which was 13th in the NBA, and this year he's only for 2021, he's only at 8.3, which is 58th in the NBA. So a potential assist is when he passes it to a teammate and it leads to a bucket, a foul, or a turnover. And you don't really want to hear you don't want him to turn the ball over, but it's still a great stat to understand and learn because this, again, tells me that he is not seeing the ball enough. I know his usage rate's still high, but he's not getting those assists. He's not passing teammates when he does get the ball. So what's going on then? What's going on with Devin Booker? His usage rate's basically the same, but his stats are significantly low. Now, we talked about his shooting, but we didn't talk about the biggest problem with Devin Booker, and that's his turnovers. His turnover percentage is plus 2 points higher than it was last year and 1.5 points higher than it was 2 years ago. And that's huge. So what that means is, even though now if we go back to the previous slide, if we look at the last 2 years, so 2020 and 2021, he had 3.8 turnovers last year, and he only had 4 turnovers this year, right? But the reason why it's such an alarming rate is because of the percentage he is turning the ball over. And that's at, let's see, I lost it. Oh, okay, it's at 16.9. And that's an alarming rate considering he was at 14.9 last year and 15.4 the previous year. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Booker is rusty, more or less. Again, no training camp, no time to get in shape. You're just getting, you're getting thrown into game action. And when you do that, when you're with new players, with basically a new team, and you're trying to learn a new point guard, and you have no time to prepare, that only means that you're going That's a strong indicator, I should say, that you're going to struggle to begin the season. And that's what all these stats show you. All the same thing. His shooting woes and the way he is not protecting the ball this year. All leads to, because there's no training camp and there's a significant amount of rust. So that leads us into my overall analysis, which is contrary to popular belief. This goes back to the fact or myth question I asked. Booker's value is not impacted by the improvement of role players, but by Chris Paul's presence. So what I mean by that is, since Chris Paul is a ball-dominant point guard, like I know he's played with Harden before, and he gets a lot of assists, and he's played with different players before. But because of Chris Paul's presence, Booker needs to try and learn how to play with Chris Paul. That's mainly what I'm getting at with that. So this analysis of mine is supported by Booker's usage percentage, which is approximately the same, potential assist, which is significantly lower than it was last year, and Booker's turnover percentage. So Booker is learning to adjust playing alongside another great point guard, another great guard. And the real problem here is the coaching of Monty Williams. Although Phoenix is currently 11-8, fifth seed, and currently the 5th seed in the Western Conference, opponents play a box and one style defense, having Booker's defender front Booker at all times. As a result, Booker tends to linger away from the offense, so he'll go closer to the half court, and he'll be the first man on defense if there's a turnover or whatnot. And because of this, it leads to Chris Paul being able to dominate the ball and playing a 4-on-4 instead of a 5-on-5, which gives Chris Paul a lot more opportunity to drive and dish or drive and score. So until Monty Williams begins drawing up plays for Booker to receive the ball, we will likely see the assist numbers stay about the same. Now, even though the assists are going to remain about 4, there is good news. And the good news is that Booker's value can still significantly improve, as his main problems lie in his turnover percentage, which is through the roof right now. It is through the roof. I fully expect him to limit that once he gets all the rust off, and he just missed some games, so this may take longer than expected. So, again, his value may significantly improve as his main problems lie in turnover percentage, which is likely due to learning how to play with other players, and the rest from the offseason, like I just said, and shooting poorly from the 2-point range and the free throw line. So it's not even his threes. His threes are fine, and he's shooting more threes than he did last year. It's actually his 2-point range, which, like, you would come to think that he's going to start making his twos soon, or at some point. At some point, the likelihood of him making twos like he did last year is much more likely than if he was struggling from 3. And again, his free throw percentage is significantly down, and the attempts are significantly down, which means his makes are significantly down. All of that can improve, and it will likely improve as Booker has just shown that he's just been rusty. Like his turnover percentage, I watched enough Phoenix Suns games to see him just if he drives, he doesn't back up. He doesn't have that step back jump shot right now. But what he does have is, like, when he drives, he will get stuck in the air, and that's what leads to a lot of his turnovers, which is why his turnover percentage is so high. So again, and that all has to do with rust. Booker is rusty right now. It's only been 5 weeks, and I know that seems like a lot, but this is a different kind of year. They don't get to practice every day, and it's a lot of games instead of a lot of practices. So what's my recommendation here? If you have Booker, do not sell him low. Unless you're really, really hurting. If your team is really struggling and you just need someone better, then I could somewhat understand, especially if you're in like a 4-man playoff league. But if you're hanging around playoffs and you're fine, or if you have a winning record like me, like my team is killing it right now, I don't need Booker. I could just sit on him and wait. So if that's your case, then do not sell low. Basketball is a game of averages, especially with a shooter like Booker, and Booker's best basketball is yet to come. Sell him at wholesale value or hold on to him until he gets hot, which will get you wholesale value. Because right now, if you sell him, it's low. People are just saying, "Oh, hey, the improvement of the whole Suns roster is what's really killing Booker," but it's not. That's not the case at all. Booker is killing Booker. Booker's rust is killing Booker, and once he gets that rust off, he's gonna. Okay, so he's likely not gonna get those assists. I'll be happy if he gets his assists up to 4.5. But again, he can easily start shooting better from the field, specifically from twos and the free throw line, and he can easily cut down on the turnover rate. And when he does that, and it's more of when, not if, when he does that, he probably will not reach that second round value at all, but he could still reach a third round value because even now he's ranked at like the 5th round. It is not unconventional for him to get hot and produce third round value. And if that's the case, you could easily trade him and like another player if your team's deep for a top 20, top 25 player. And that's my full recommendation on if you have Booker. Now, if you do not have Booker, make an inquiry on Booker to see if the owner has become frustrated enough to sell him at a discount. I see a lot of people are frustrated with Booker, and you can likely get him. Booker will likely remain about the same, in assists, like I just said. But once he starts shooting better, and once he learns to protect the ball better with his new teammates, his value will significantly improve. Where you may be able to then flip him if you have traded for him when his stock's low, like right now. You can either flip him later down on the line, or you could even keep him for a great source of points, threes, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. Because even right now, even though he is struggling, his field goal percentage is 47%. His free throw percentage is 82%. Those are still fine numbers by any two guard. And we're looking for more from Booker, and we can easily get more from Booker because he's just that great of a player. And right now, he's only averaging 2.2 threes, which I don't think that's going to get too much better as he's shooting the same from 3, but his points are going to improve. By the end of the season, I do predict he should be closer to 25 points per game, probably even 26 points per game, somewhere in that range. He should have 4 to 5 rebounds and a close between 4 and 4.5 assists. That's where I see Booker by the end of the year. And I see him approximately 48% from the field, and his free throw percentage is going to go up at some point. I see that above 85% at the very least. I still see that between 86 and 88%. I don't see why not. As soon as he gets that rust off, it'll be better. Again, his major problem is the turnover rate. That's due to rust and because and due to his shooting woes. Again, guys, once he gets that stuff figured out, once he gets that fixed, once he gets the rust off, he's going to be a great source specifically for points, threes, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and my recommendation is to trade for him if you can. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Please make sure to like this video if you found it informative, or if you just liked it, if you liked like what this video can be, because I would like to do this once a week. I think I'll do a different player every week, and if you guys like it, that's what I'm going to do. Also, leave a comment down below on a player that you may be interested in watching, as I am open to suggestions at this point. And make sure you subscribe to my channel for more fantasy basketball content all season long, as I will be dropping 2 to 3 videos per week until the end of the season. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video.